Today we are going to be doing some very important Unit 2. Well, you have this two-step equations CFA retake here. You need to score 9 or more points to pass. You get 1 point for the additive inverse. You get 1 point for the multiplicative inverse, or by dividing if it's an integer like this, and 1 point for the correct answer. Okay, so the only way you can pass is by getting 9 or more. So that means you've got to get at least one of these perfectly correct. Okay, so let's begin. We know how to begin. First thing that we do, we're going to keep a barrier that's separating the left from the right. And we're going to do the additive inverse first. So we find the variable term and label that VT, the variable term. And then we find the constant on that side, the C, the constant. That's the thing we attack first because we want to get X to be all by itself down here at the end. So here we're going to add 7. Negative 7 plus 7 is 0, so we slash it. We're going to take this whole term, the whole thing comes down into this area, bringing it down the page. Negative 1/2 x equals negative 11 plus 7. If you need to use a calculator for that, you should grab a calculator. Hopefully you don't need to, but if you do, you push the negative 11 plus 7, negative 4. At this point, you should be able to solve. Okay, now we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So it's the reciprocal of this coefficient here. So we're looking at just the coefficient, not the x, not the variable. So we're putting it multiply, multiply, and we're going to flip this over. Negative 2 over 1, negative 2 over 1, and now we're done. This whole purpose of this was to get us to 1x, which we have. And now we have negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8 over 1, or just 8. Super simple. That's worth 3 points. You'll see on your test a 3. Okay, let's do the same thing here. Find the variable term, find the constant on that side, and that's what we get an attack. We're going to add 3 because negative 3 plus 3 is 0. We're going to take the whole term, bringing it down. We're not going to leave the negative behind. It's very important. Negative 6x equals 9 plus 3 is 12. Then we're going to, now we have, we can multiply by a reciprocal, but since the coefficient is negative 6, just the coefficient, okay, we're going to just divide by negative 6 because negative 6 divided by negative 6 is 1x. And then we're going to divide by negative 6 on the other side. Okay, 12 divided by negative 6 is negative 2. Okay, notice there's no x here. If you put an x in here, the x's are going to cancel, and you're going to have negative 2 over x. That's a big no-no. Okay, so we're almost done. We have our vertical line. We're going to find the variable term and our constant. So we're targeting this because we want g all by itself at the end. So we subtract 4. 13 take away 4 is 9 equals g over 3. Okay, so remember, this is a 1g. Don't just put 1 there. It's 1g, and now we can multiply. So I've been using the orange multiply. The coefficient is 1/3. 1/3. So we're going to multiply by 3/1. Okay. 9 times 3 is 27 over 1. But we don't write that. We write it just as 27. So again, you get 1 point for the additive inverse, 1 point for the multiplicative inverse or dividing in this case, and then for the correct answer. So that's worth 3, and that's worth 3. And then you have your final problem here. Again, variable term and constant. There's a constant on the right, but we only are concerned with this right now. -4, the opposite of -4 is +4, slash, we forgot the slash over here. So we did +4 on the left, we do the exact same thing on the right, +4. And now we have 10 plus 4 is 14. We're going to bring the whole variable term down. The whole thing comes down. We don't leave anything behind. And now we're almost done. This is the coefficient. It doesn't include the variable. So we're just going to multiply by -3/2. Okay, we did all that because the purpose of that was to get m all by itself. So you can just write m there. We can do this multiplication. 14 times -3 in the numerator is -42. But this, don't forget that there's a 2 in the denominator because it's 14 over 1. 1 times 2 is 2. So you have to do some simplification here at the very end, -21. And now you're done. Circle your answers. That's a really good policy. Circle all your answers. That would be worth 3. And now you're done with the retake. That's a score of 12 out of 12, 100%. Let's add a little extra thing to this. Let's add how to check your answer. You can check your answers to see if they're correct. We can put 8 into the original equation. -1/2 times 8 minus 7 equals -11. That's -8/2, which reduces to -4 minus 7 equals -11. -11 equals -11, and you're done. We'll just do all of them really quick. -3 minus 6 times -2 equals 9. -3 plus 12 equals 9. 9 equals 9. Check. 27. 13 equals 27. So we're substituting in. 13 equals 27 divided by 3 is 9 plus 4. 13 equals 13. Check. I always like to check when I'm taking a test because that's the most valuable time. Okay, a little more difficult here. -2/3 times -21 minus 4 equals 10. That's -42. Oh no, +42 over 3 minus 4 equals 10. That divides, becomes 14 minus 4 equals 10. 10 equals 10. So hopefully after you've done this and you take the retake, you're going to get 100%. I'm confident you are going to be successful.